Hello, future millionaires, and welcome back to my channel. I am Kayla.K.Keane, and welcome to another of my Sunday live streams where I talk to you about finance topics as well as matters relating to real estate. Thank you all for joining. I see that quite a few of you are here early and you are already liking the video, so you know I appreciate that. So thanks for coming. Let me just jump in the comment section as I come and see what you guys are talking about. It seems that you guys are having an entire discussion about marital combat and some other things. So let me just check that to see what you're talking about. I see where you guys were also extremely early. Thanks for that. I see CM is here saying currently looking at a 85 million Jamaican dollars 3-bedroom townhouse model unit viewing in Kingston. Okay. Timoya Bryan says good evening, host and subscribers. Hey Jamdan TV is here and she says good evening everyone. She's welcoming CM is welcoming the persons who are here. And CM said Medea, a wait and look. Okay. What you guys are talking about a movie that y'all watch. That's so cool. Natisha is here. So is CM Timoy and Angela. So yes, you guys are chatting up. Her children missing her. Well, I see quite a few people. Oh, Angela Dwyer commented and said that her children missing her. Oh, so I must hurry up and come. Lord Jesus. Yes, Miss Angela, thanks for joining from Great Britain. As always, thanks to all the persons who are joining from Great Britain, Canada, the US, Germany, Jamaica. Just drop your flags in the comment section and let me know where you're from, apart from my regulars who I know where they live. I have not been seeing some regular persons. I'm going to reach out to you. I see Life with Randy is here. I think this person is new. So give this person a shout out in the comment section and let them feel welcome. Earth Strong is here and Mommy is also here. She says, Mommy is here, Blessings to you, Princess. Thank you, Mom, for joining. Yes, so welcome to another live stream, my beautiful subscribers. As always, I always start off my programs with a spirit of gratitude. So I want to say thank you. We're now at 2.7K. So a very, 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 very big thank you for helping me on that journey. I see Capitan Hall is also here and he's commenting Jam German. Yes, but he's in Jamaica. Thanks for joining. Thanks to everyone else also who has chosen to spend a part of their Sunday evening with me. I truly appreciate you. I always tell you what I'm drinking. So today I'm drinking water in my bottle that says subscribe. So please go ahead and subscribe if you have not already done so that you can become a part of the future millionaire family. I see CM, Timoy, and Natisha are talking about a movie in the comment section. You guys know I don't watch TV at all, so I cannot contribute to this conversation. Yes, but yeah, so I said thank you for that. If you guys want to connect with me outside of YouTube also, please remember that you can do so by joining me on Instagram. My Instagram name is also Kayla.K.Keane. Capitan Hall is asking if he can have one of these bottles. You certainly can. You certainly can, Mr. Hall. Just send me a WhatsApp message. All right, yes. So as I was saying, if you want to connect with me on Instagram. My name is also Kayla.K.Keane, similar to my name here on YouTube. And you can also link with me on Twitter. I'll put the link for my channels, my social media accounts in my description box so that you guys can connect with me by just clicking the link. Also, if you are a realtor or developer and you're watching this video and you want to connect with me, do so via my email. It's miskeane21@gmail.com, where I'll be able to uh, do business stuff with you there. So, yes, as you guys know how I always do it, we always start off with a prayer and then we go into the discussion. If it's your first time here joining me live, please remember that you can ask all your questions about finance and real estate in the comment section. So, feel free to go ahead and do so, and I will answer you before I get into the main discussion. You can ask any question at any time about anything personal, finance, real estate. Feel free to go ahead and ask in the comment section, and I will oblige you with an answer, okay? So go ahead and do that while I pray. Lord, as we come before you this evening, we give you thanks for an opportunity to gather again to talk about things productive, things uplifting, things enlightening. I ask you to allow the show or cause it to be very uplifting this evening, cause it to be enlightening, and let the questions be awesome and the answers edifying for all those who need information. Father, we ask you to provide us with an open heaven and that we'll have testimonies about your miracle in areas of finance and real estate. For these and other mercies, we give you thanks. Amen. All right, so let me jump in the comment section now. I'm just going to connect another device so that I can read your questions on there. Let me just jump in the comment section. I'm going to read where I can read your comments and provide you with answers for those of you who want to ask questions while I'm live on here. I see Garth Daly saying amen. Welcome, Garth. I was just about to say earlier, that I have not seen you in a couple weeks and I was concerned. And as I see, I remember also that for my VIP subscribers, we are having our virtual meet and greet soon. Yay! So I'm going to send you an email during this week, and we'll try to have that done this week. So you all will get to meet me virtually so that I can see your faces and know who I'm actually talking to. Just like how I used to mix up, I don't know who is male and female because some of the names are like what they call those gender neutral. Yes, that's one of the terms that they use. So yeah, so it's hard for me to know who is who. So yes, that's why I want to have a meet and greet. But because of Corona, obviously I can't do it face to face, so I'll have to do it online. So let me just see what you guys are saying in the comment section, and then we'll move to the main discussion. Of course, today we're talking about the rise of the concrete jungle. And you guys know what a concrete jungle is if you are remotely, if you have anything to do with Jamaica and Jamaican culture, you know what a concrete jungle is. It's a very overdeveloped location, to say the least. So that's what we'll be talking about today. But as I said before, remember you can ask anything you want to ask. Any question you want to ask, you can go ahead and do so. So Natisha is welcoming Caperton in the comment section. Timoyo Brand says, CMI downloaded it from the site I was telling Natisha about. So I tell you guys, they were having a whole discussion about movies and where to download them in the comment section. Natisha saying she don't see the site. Yannick Brown says, I'm back, fell asleep last week. Welcome back, Yannick. Very happy to have you on this week's live. I'm happy that you could have stayed awake this week. You're in England, right? I know that some persons are struggling against the time because while it's evening here in Jamaica, it's morning, early morning in some other countries. But just bear with me. As I said before, welcome back, Garth. Natisha says amen. So does Garth. And Autumn Rain says, I don't understand why I keep getting notifications late. Yannick Brown says no, she's in Jamaica, but I work during the day till 5. Okay, I guess you're part of the essential services. All right, guys. So as I was saying before, this week we're talking about the rise of the concrete jungle. And this is a spin-off from the conversation we had last week. So if you are like Yannick and you fell asleep last week and you never get to watch live, last week we spoke about CM. Just read. CM, you're such a talker. Yes. Last week we spoke about the rising cost of real estate here in Jamaica. So if you missed last week's video, let me just bring you up to speed by doing a little recap. So basically, if you notice, the cost for real estate in Jamaica has significantly increased in recent times, right? So normally a property that would go for say $14 million is now going for like $20 million. And of course, most of us have not gotten a pay raise in recent time. So that is a bit difficult for us to adjust to, because we're not getting enough money to be able to easily, willy-nilly take out an extra, say, $6 million in the example that I just gave you to pay for property. So that has become a problem. But I've also noticed that there are other issues that can arise from the constant building of what they call them, apartments and high-rise buildings, complexes here in the corporate area, especially in the cities, so the town areas in each parish. So I was concerned about it because I know that apart from overdeveloping an area, there are some other spin-off effects that can arise from that. And one of the things that I've been encouraging my subscribers to do is to look for properties outside of Kingston, St. Catherine, and St. James. Those are the three main areas in which persons tend to look for properties, but based on what is happening, not just with well, mainly with the price, because obviously, as I said last week, where there's an increase in demand, there will also be, where there's an increase in supply, there'll also be, where there's demand, supply gets more expensive. Sorry. Right. So because of that, there is a very big demand on the housing market here in Jamaica. So because of that, you find that prices for houses is going up significantly, and persons can sell for ridiculous prices because they will get the money that they ask for. Because if the demand is higher, then the person who can afford it will actually pay the higher price for it without a problem. The only issue with that is some people literally feel as though they cannot buy houses in Jamaica, especially young people like myself who prefer to buy alone and do not want to necessarily buy with a partner, or they're not married or so on, right? But apart from the obvious economic issues, there are some socio-economic issues that are associated to the constant development of this small area. So I was wondering if I was overthinking. And let me see what you guys are saying in the comment section while I banter along. Okay, so I'm not missing anything in the comment section. Right. So, as I was saying, while there are some obvious economic uh, fall offs from what is happening, there are also some socio-economic, social issues that are arising from that. So, let me see by commenting in the comment section how many of you are looking for properties to buy, or if you're not looking, you want to look for properties to buy, and which parish you prefer to purchase a property in. Just tell me in the comment section by way of commenting a parish, which, if you're gonna buy a house, or if you should buy a house, even if you don't want to buy a house now, but you'd like to buy a house in the future, tell me which parish is your dream parish for purchasing a house. So if you have no interest in buying a house either, just tell me which parish is your dream parish. So I want to see if my subscribers prefer to live in a particular place, or you don't mind, you just want to own a home. Because I know that quite a few of you who are on here, especially those of you who live abroad, you are looking for properties, and some of you tend not to be looking in Kingston or the corporate area, but some persons are. WN Mac says, "Hi, good evening, all. Thanks for joining WN Mac. He is in Great Britain. So thanks for taking a part of your evening to spend with me." All right, so go ahead, guys, and continue to comment the parish that you're looking to buy in, or that you would prefer to buy in if you were going to buy a house in Jamaica. And for those of you who are going to be watching delayed, so you're not on the live stream, go ahead and comment in the comment section and let me know which parish you want to buy in. All right. So while you comment, and I wait on the comments to load up, I see quite a few going up, but continue to comment. I'm going to read something for you that I found on Statin. Now, this report is the 2018 report. This is the latest one they have. And you know that as it relates to population growth, the surveys, you don't normally get them up to date. They're normally a little bit behind. Statin is normally a little bit behind. But I read this today and I found it quite interesting, right? So remember, in Jamaica, for those of you who are not Jamaicans, we have 14 parishes. And Kingston, which is the capital of Jamaica, has is the smallest parish, right? So Kingston is the smallest parish. But listen to this. In 2018, Statin did a survey that showed the amount of people who live in each parish, right? So they were trying to do the population growth survey, but as a result, they would have gotten the number or an approximate number of the persons living in each parish. So in total, in 2018, we had 2.76 million people living in Jamaica. So just let's just round off the figure to 3 million people. So we have 3 million people living on the island. And out of those 3 million people, we have 669,000 of them living in Kingston and St. Andrew, right? Remember, Kingston is the smallest parish. So this is the highest number of persons living in any one parish. 669 living in Kingston alone, right? So the second highest number comes from St. Catherine, and they have 521,000 people living in St. Catherine. Uh, the other parishes like St. Thomas has the least amount of people living there with just nine 94,000 people living in St. Thomas, right? Remember, St. Thomas is actually bigger than Kingston. And in Kingston, you have 669, almost 70,000, 700,000 people living in Kingston, but yet St. Thomas, that is bigger than Kingston, had only 94,000 people living there in 2018. So that's the reason I asked you guys which parish you want to live in. And if you're just joining, I see some persons just joining. So you can go ahead and tell me if you're looking to buy a house in Jamaica, which parish would you want to buy the house in? Don't think about your budget now. Don't think about anything. Say you had all the money in the world and you could do anything you want to do. If you could buy a house in Jamaica, which parish would you choose? Right. So in St. Mary had 114,000 at the time. St. Anne had 174,000. Trelawney had 75,000, which is close to St. Thomas. It's even less than St. Thomas. Hanover had the lowest amount of people living there at just 70,000 and some change. So in St. James now, we had 185,000, and I thought that would have been more because St. James is one of the cities, so to speak. St. Elizabeth had 151,000. Manchester had 191,000. Clarendon had about 250,000. And I told you already that St. Catherine had over 521,000 people living there. So basically, what I'm saying is Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine has basically half of Jamaica living in those parishes. So it's easy to see why the cost for houses is so expensive in these areas. So one of the things that we'll have to think about, especially persons who come from country, and in Jamaica, for those of you who live abroad, what we refer to as country is the rural parishes. So maybe we'll have to look at repatriating to those parishes so that the cost can go down. So let me hurry up and check the comment section now to see what you guys were saying in the comment section as it relates to where you would prefer to live in Jamaica. If nothing about money came up, you had all the money you wanted, where would you prefer to live? So I see Yannick saying she would live in St. Anne and Portland. Miss B said St. Catherine. Kemoy says not looking yet, but would like to. Natisha said St. Andrew. Earthstrong says Kingston and St. Andrew. Autumn Marine says St. James, St. Anne, Westmoreland, but for investment purposes because she doesn't live here. G Don says Kingston. Kimoy says apartment in Kingston and a home in Manchester and St. Elizabeth. Okay. G Don says Portmore. Latoya Henry says St. Thomas or Portland. Um, oh, Yannick is specifying where in St. Mary she wants to live. So she says she'd want to live in Tower Isle, St. Mary. WN Max says Mandeville or Negril. Okay, so you'd want to live in Westmoreland or Manchester. Yannick says it's for investment purposes. The Chronicles of Thea says St. Catherine, Clarendon, Kingston, or St. Anne. Timoy says Kingston, St. Catherine, possible St. Mary. CM says I am looking and waiting for an apartment or home in Kingston or St. Catherine. Okay. Diaper Sard said Jamaica's real estate is for the tiny middle and upper class of the foreign buyers. The vast army of poor working folks can't find enough affordable homes to buy, need more government programs. Hey Jamdan TV says St. Elizabeth. Juliet Harris says St. Catherine preferably. And CM says I signed up for and waiting on the Phoenix Park in Portmore and the Colbeck Manor in Old Harbor. Next phase. Whichever is cheaper. Smiley face. Earthstrong says, Kayla, what about you? Where would you live? All right. So before I answer your question, Earthstrong, I'm going to respond to Die Persard. So Die Persard says the vast army of poor and working class folks can't find enough affordable properties to buy. The government needs more program. All right. So Die, thanks for that feedback. But I can tell you, I actually believe that when we have a problem as a people, we have to come together and try to solve the problem for ourselves. Because if we are going to sit and depend on anybody outside of ourselves to solve the problem, I don't know that is ever going to work. So as I was saying earlier, and that's the reason why I wanted to start this conversation for exactly that which you said, Di, and I understand the sentiment. But we have to become more creative as it relates to solving our own problem. So one of the things that we can start with is looking at what exists around us, which is what we just did together. So we look at the numbers and we see that the vast majority of people are living in two parishes in Jamaica. So that is Kingston and St. Andrew, which is a twin parish basically, and St. Catherine. So one of the things that we'll have to look into is possibly purchasing outside of those parishes. So in the comment section, when you guys responded to me as it relates to where you'd want to live, and I see some persons joining, thanks for joining. Oops, got a bug there. Yes. So yeah, most of you, I thought you would have said Kingston, most of you, but most of you actually prefer to live out of town if possible. So that is a good sign, because I'm just impressing upon you that not because it's just like with anything else. You have to have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. So you might prefer to live in Kingston, but if it don't work out, or if the prices for houses in those parishes that you prefer are too expensive for you to afford, then the sensible thing for you to do is to go ahead and look outside of that preferred area to a second best option. Because the truth is, the corporate area is slowly but not even slowly, is swiftly becoming a concrete jungle. I can think off the top of my head of at least 10 new apartment complexes. So because there's no more space on the ground, everybody's going up and up and up and up. So nothing is wrong with that. But what are the repercussions that we will have in the future? Because if you're going to buy a house in an area, you can't just look at what exists now. You have to think about what will happen 10 years from now, because real estate is not like a car where you can just say, all right, then just get up and sell it tomorrow morning. It will take a little more time, effort, and money. Because to sell a car, you don't need an attorney, but to sell a house, you do. And the costs in general to sell a property is way more expensive than selling a car, right? So we have to think about all of those factors. Now, somebody asked me earlier, I was asking you, for those of you who are just joining, I asked my subscribers if you could choose anywhere at all to live in Jamaica and price was not a factor, where would you choose to live? And if you're just joining, you can go ahead and comment. So somebody just asked me about the question and say, where would I prefer to live if I if money wasn't a factor, nothing was a factor, I had all the money in the world and I could do anything I want, where would I live? In Jamaica. And I would probably say I'd choose three parishes. It would be Manchester, St. Anne, and Kingston as my last choice. So those would be my three parishes if I could choose. I think Manchester would probably be my number one, followed by St. Anne, and then Kingston as my last choice if I had no factors that impacted my decision. So that's to answer your question, Earth Strong. So CM says that he's waiting on Phoenix Park in Portmore and Colbeck Manor in Old Harbour, the next phase, whichever is cheaper, he's going to consider those. He also says, I'm also waiting on the NHC's Ruthven Tower in Kingston. Okay. CM, based on what we spoke about in the last live when you told me your age, I think you are a good candidate for getting through with those properties. So go ahead and try your luck and let us know what happens. Yannick Brown says, personally, I never lived in an apartment. I need yard space and privacy. That is true, Yannick. I would prefer not to live in an apartment too, but I'm not ruling it out. But you do know that there are advantages and disadvantages with every living situation. Angela Dwyer says, definitely St. Anne. Yes, St. Anne is a lovely parish, and St. Anne is very big. I think it's the biggest parish. So I don't think the development will significantly impact them the way it is impacting Kingston, because obviously Kingston is a very small space. So it's a problematic thing once you see the buildings start to go up. Steve Foster says three best choices. Thanks, Steve. CM says, oh, thank you, Kayla. Smiley face. Autumn says, Kayla, I always wanted a retirement home in Manchester. Me too. I like that parish. I like the weather. It's more spacious. I mean, the town is congested and everything, but all towns are like that. But I really like that parish. Right. So since 2018 now, according to Jamaica Information Service, JIS, there has been a boom in construction in Jamaica. So with Kingston being the smallest parish and having the largest population of all the 14 parishes here in Jamaica, you know that that is a problem. And some of the things that we're already looking at is roadway. Let's talk about roadway. So how is it that we're building all these apartments? You guys notice that the condition of the roads and the road network in Kingston in particular is not necessarily improving significantly to keep up with the pace of development as it relates to properties. So I know that some of you might argue and say, yeah, man, we have the boulevard that was refurbished and fixed up and they broadened the road and everything. However, can you tell me some other roadways that were developed apart from 3 miles, which is still in the close enough to boulevard? Apart from that network, can you tell me some other road networks that have been developed? I don't really see no bridge going up for overhead travel to take off some of the traffic on the actual roadway. I know that persons who live in, especially St. Catherine, you struggle with traffic on a daily basis to commute to and from work if you live in St. Catherine and work in Kingston. So I want to know, what are the plans for development as it relates to the corporate area? Because if there are so many apartments going up, where are people going to drive? So if there are new apartments, is it that people are moving around in Kingston? So maybe somebody want to live where they live in Kingston now and go live in the apartments? Or is it that we're having an influx of persons from other parishes coming into Kingston too? live. So now you're gonna have more people in the corporate area on top of the already congested situation that we have here. So everybody know that you have rush hour traffic and you are expected to face undue delay during certain hours. So if you can travel outside of those hours, then fine. And then with the recent discussion of us having flexi work week, and I'm always saying that there are some positives to COVID, because prior to COVID, some bosses didn't believe that persons were capable of getting their job done from home. But now, with the advent of COVID-19, then some persons are forced to tell their employees to hear what, stay home, work from home, and whatever. And with school being online, that kind of free up the road network a little bit. But what about when we go back to normal? So if we're going to overpopulate the place and we're building apartments everywhere in the corporate area, what about when school reopens and we go back to normal? What is going to happen on the roadway? It is going to be catastrophic. Let me see what they're saying in the comment section, what you are saying in the comment section. WN Max says, Manchester is a good parish, but it's crowded, not much space in the town. Yes, WN, that's what I was saying. But most parishes, most places in the world are like that. So you will always find that the town is crowded because that's why it's the town. You have most of the business places, most of the life of the community, of the parish rather, happens in the town. So I guess that's why. So if you're choosing to live in a parish, you don't necessarily have to live in the town. You can live in a more, suburban area, in a more rural part of the parish. So CM says, in answer to your question, if I had unlimited resources, I definitely would buy some of those new housing development in St. Anne. CM says in Richmond Estate example. Okay. Yes, Richmond Estate is a very, 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 very beautiful piece of real estate down there in St. Anne. Very nice. So yes, so I want people to answer my question in the comment section though. With all of the development that is happening in Kingston, what are we going to do? And not just Kingston, St. Catherine. Because St. Catherine, if you guys didn't know, Portmore is the biggest community in the English speaking Caribbean. Not just Jamaica, the entire English speaking Caribbean. So more people live in Portmore than any other community in Jamaica. So that is one of the reasons why they needed the highway. And that is one of the reasons why people who live in St. Catherine struggle every day to go home if they work in Kingston, because there are so many persons who are literally trying to travel the same route as you are. So yes, I want us to look at some of the effects of urbanization, because when we're talking about real estate, and maybe I think a little bit outside of the box. So when people think about real estate, most persons only think about, all right, this is what my budget is, this is what I can afford, and this is what I'm seeing on the market. But my mind kind of works another way. So I am wondering, how is it going to work when everything goes back to normal? All these apartments are populated and persons are traversing at their regular hours. So the children are going to school, teachers gone back to work, nurses are out, other non-essential services are out. What are we going to do? I am concerned. And then there's some other effects of urbanization that I think we're overlooking. Because if you're going to buy a house in a community, you want to know certain things like, do I have proper drainage? So there's a community out in the south, out in the east, sorry, in the east, on the east end of Jamaica, Bull Bay, close to Bull Bay. And they have serious issues with flooding. And a large part of that is because of the whole urbanization. So everybody needs to find somewhere to live. So instead, because you don't want to live in Hanover, where we only have 75,000 people living down there in Hanover, so we all pack up in the same area, not paying attention that some of these areas have geographical challenges. And some persons, when they're looking for houses to buy, them not think about that. They don't drive around and ask, what kind of community is this? Shot fire nighttime? Dance keep a nighttime? You need to know all of these things. Let me see what you guys are saying in the comment section before I go on any further. Kemoy says great points from the host and viewers. Thank you, Kemoy. Autumn Marine says, side note, Kayla, we need a hair tutorial. How you get your hair so flat? Oh, blow dry it. You know that I have natural hair. So I blow dry it. Just blow dry it. That's all. Yeah. So just blow dry your hair. And I know that your hair is natural too. And it will go flat like that. But you know that if the rain start falling, I'm gonna have a whole afro. Because once it gets wet, it's back to its natural state. Berry says hi. Thanks for joining, Berry. WN Max says, don't like the low line in Portmore. Concerns about tsunami. Indeed, indeed. Um, Chronicles of Fear says all type of pollution can happen and endless traffic. Exactly. So I want you guys to think about these factors when you are looking for a house to purchase. Don't just see a house and the first house you see, you say, yes, man, look at God providing for me. It might not be that way. You understand? So you need to think before you purchase a property. And that's one of the reasons why I've been encouraging you guys to, if you can buy outside of the corporate area, if you can buy outside of St. Catherine, Kingston, then go ahead and buy in the country. Nothing wrong with that. Um, so coastal zones was one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and WN Mac already brought it up about the low line. But apart from, as it relates to coastal zones, we don't just want to look at low line and flood prone areas. One of the things that we want to think about too is or overall what they call biodiversity. I'm what they call, I'm environmentally aware. They call it ecocentric and ecocentric. So I like to know that we are taking care of the environment, because look here, you see the same gully that you throw things in and blah 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 is the same gully going to flood out your house 2 months from now. And I don't think we as Jamaicans think enough about those things. So I know that this is a very different angle for me to look at things from, but I just wanted to talk about it for a minute so that we can think about what we're doing, think about our investment. I know that for some of you, it's hard to even find $15 million to buy a house, let alone some properties that are selling for 30 million. You just have to turn away because you know you can't afford it. But think about investing so much money only to find out that your house is being flooded every summer or every hurricane season. So in the country now, you have less of that. You have less pollution, noise pollution, air pollution, all type of pollution is less in the country areas, in the rural areas. Let me use the correct term. So I want you guys to think about that. Don't just say yes, I want a house at town, especially because some of us cannot afford it already. So let's think about outside of the corporate area. Let me see what you guys are saying in the comment section. Timoy O'Brien says, or Thea says, all type of pollution can happen and endless traffic. Timoy O'Brien says the reason why there are so many people living in Kingston and other areas like it is because of the opportunities that are in these areas, especially university and all. Yes, that is true. But remember that some of us can comfortably travel to other parishes too. So I want you guys to think about that. Earthstrong says there's some little rain flies in here. I don't know. It's gonna rain or something. Earthstrong says, I think the government need to put a cap on city development. They have put a cap on some developments that are happening, I think over in Montego Bay though, because you know that some persons are just building things, they're not getting the proper approval and so on. some of them not building according to the covenant. It's like them just get the title and say, you know what, me no business where this one say, no, me just a bill when me want bill is my property. But the government has been putting stop order on some of these developments. Um, Timoy O'Brien says, then again, with this pandemic, we are finding new ways of doing things in terms of accessibility to these opportunities. Exactly, which is one of the points I was looking at. If some of us could work from home, we wouldn't have a problem living, like working in Kingston and living in St. Anne, because you know that probably you would only have to come to work twice weekly, like physically come to work twice weekly. I wouldn't mind driving to Kingston from St. Anne twice weekly, but if I have to do it for 5 days, no, that's a different ball game. Um, Angela Dwyer says, I love the fresh air in the countryside. I know, right? Especially in Manchester. Manchester is so cool and nice. Let's see what you guys are saying again. Comments, guys. WN says, I have been saving to reach $15 million, and my, it's not easy, even though I'm in the UK. Exactly. So imagine persons who are living here and earning not so competitive salaries. CM says, you have to think of proper water supply to these high-rise buildings. Huh. NWC says they are legally bound to feed water to a certain height. So those who live in 4 and 5 story apartment need water pump. Okay. So these are some of the other problems that might develop over time. Some persons in the corporate area are already having issues with uh, NWC. Once it is the dry season, NWC start deciding who get water when, even though you're paying a full bill every month. So I'm wondering, are we really prepared to deal with these issues? Because in my mind and in my view here in Jamaica, sometimes I feel like decisions are made haphazardly and persons don't think about all the ramifications of making certain decision. Another concern that I have, green areas. So I know that when you build an apartment on the covenant, generally it tells you that you should have a certain percentage of green space. But have you guys noticed that when you go to some of these apartments, especially the newly constructed ones, they have green area that is the carpet grass? Any ever notice, or is just me alone? So they have the fake grass. That's what I'm referring to for the green area. So I don't know if they recognize that the covenant meant that it should be natural things like grass and trees and not faux grass or fake grass. So yes, those are some of the concerns that I have with Kingston already being hot and dusty and what are we gonna do 5 years from now? I'd really like to see what Kingston is going to become 5 years from now. I just saw like 2 new apartments start last week. 2 new apartments, not one, two. And remember, I tell you already that I can tell you offhand 10 that I know that are going up. So I'm really wondering, what will we become over time? Is it going to be a little dust bowl, or will things get better? They're going to finally decide, say, all right, this now gonna work and fix up the place. And with us building new apartments and all of that, do we have proper garbage collection? Are we addressing those issues? Are we just a bill, a bill, a bill, a bill, a bill? Autumn Rain says it's true. Laughing emoji. Autumn Rain says defeats the purpose of the green area. Exactly. Hi, hey Jamdan TV say LOL. You're right, Kayla. Yes, people. So let us, I'm saying all of this for you to reconsider your decision about definitely living in Kingston or St. Catherine. If your people them come from country and you have access to land, you might want to think about building down there. And a lot of persons, especially younger persons, come on here and they complain about not being able to afford properties. But truth is, maybe you can afford property now, but just not in Kingston. So since you already can't afford properties in Kingston and your people them come from country, why you don't consider building in the country? Because we have to think about alternatives to solve our problem. You notice I never say nothing about government or any NGO or anybody. We're talking about ourselves now, what we can do to help ourselves. And that's the way that I want us to think as the future millionaire family. We have to think of how we can solve our issues ourselves, how we can thrive through our own utilization of our intelligence. We can't expect nobody to do it for we. Years have passed, and persons who were supposed to do things for us have not done them for us. I don't think 2020 are going to change nothing. I don't think 2021 going to change nothing. I don't think 2022 going to change anything either. We have to come together and see how we can solve our problem. So who are come live beside me down our country? Because if possible, we're going to the country. Who coming? As Solomon Francis says, Jamaicans need to voice their opinion. Yes, Solomon, but voicing our opinion is a very passive response to the issue. We can voice our opinion, but we need to also take action. Yeah, we have to take action because talking alone not going to change anything at all. We have to definitely try and take action. Let me see what you guys are saying again. Earth Strong says, Kayla, I was recently told that my apartment complexes also carry a maintenance fee. Can you speak about that? Yes, Earth Strong, you are very, very correct. The person who told you that did not misinform you by any means. That is true. So these beautiful apartments that you see going up, when you pay, so when you purchase the property and you start to pay your monthly mortgage, you'll also be required to pay a maintenance fee. So for example, the what's that apartment called? The one on close to Meadowbrook. What's that apartment called? Silverbrook. I think it's Silverbrook. Yes. I know that that one is $10,000 per month for the maintenance fee. And some of them, the maintenance fee is decided by the HOA, which is the homeowners association. So when, like say, all of us on here, all 20 out of us who are here now, decide to live in the same apartment, then we come together and decide what the maintenance fee will be. Because obviously it's an apartment, so you are going to say, well, the grass is not my responsibility because all of them are walk on the grass. So we can pay a gardener, we can pay the security guard and things like that. Just people to maintain the property. So yes, Earthstrong, that's true. So you'll pay the mortgage and you'll have to pay your monthly maintenance fee. CM says, but Kayla, my job is based in New Kingston. So I don't really want to live so far from the office, even though I work from home now due to COVID. Internet not always strong a country. You see? So these are some infrastructural problems that we'll have to address also. And what I'm wondering is if we already have, even some places in Kingston, you have internet that is unreliable. So if we decide to move to a more flexible work schedule, how does that work? Because even with online school, I know that some kids not going to school because them just don't have internet. I went to a place, it was in which parish? I think it's St. Anne, but it's rural St. Anne. And the people them don't even have lights around there. So, said my phone never did a work around there. So and the line phone wasn't working and the digital phone wasn't working. So they don't have phone in that community. They don't have internet, them don't have light, them don't have nothing around there. So yes, I'm not telling you to move to somewhere like that, but yes, there are other places where everything work, although it's country. Okay. Autumn Rain says retracted because Kayla answered my question. Oh, yeah. Okay, no problem. Yes. So these are some of the things that we have to talk about, guys, and we have to think about them. I just want to get your minds working outside of just the goal that you have. So I know that you have the goal and you want to own a home, but I definitely want you guys to think about the other factors apart from just owning the home. If you see a house that you like and you want to purchase the house, please drive around the community, look at what is happening in the space. So is it that they have a lot of bars in the community? Is it that they have a lot of corner shops in the community? Think about all of those things. You need to find out about water. Do they have accessible and reliable water supply? What about light? Do they have frequent power cuts? So, for example, if your boss decides, say, yeah, man, you can work from home, but you're going to buy a house in a community that has frequent power cuts, you know that you're going to have a significant problem. And you don't want to be living in a space where you're not comfortable. Do they collect the garbage frequently in this community that you're looking at to relocate? So I want you guys to think about several things before you ever decide to live in a community. One of the things for me personally that I look for as it relates to living somewhere, for me, I have to have a couple things accessible before I decide that I can live in a community. Three things. School. So a school must be fairly close by. And when I say school, I past primary school and high school age. So I'm more thinking about university if I want to go back to school. Another thing is a hospital. If I get sick, I don't want to have to drive 200 kilometers per hour to get to the hospital that is 5 hours away. I'm not about that life. And the next thing is uh just civilization stuff like ATMs, a little mall, things like that. So those are some of the things that I want you guys to think about before you consider living outside of the concrete jungle. I still want you to think about your accessibility to civilization. So I'm not telling you to live anywhere now that don't have water, internet, cable, nothing. So you're like in no man's land. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Okay, so WN Max says this pandemic must teach us so many things. And personally, for me, it taught me to have savings stuck away in the event of a serious crisis. That's so true. CM says that's why I have to check out where you're going to buy a house or apartment, interview persons that live there, ask about the area, crime, sewage, internet, access to food, etc. Nearest police station, definitely. WN says lots of moody people around since this pandemic. Understandable enough. CM says LOLWN Mac. CM says Kayla, you sound like you want horse and saddle. No, I don't want a horse and a saddle. However, you have to find a good balance. So not because you don't want the high rise and the cluster means say, oh, you want bush and mosquitoes. I see why I was seeing the rain flies in here. It's raining now. Lorraine Samuels. This is weird. Lorraine Samuel says police and fire station too. Yes, Lorraine, those are some good suggestions. Autumn Rain says not really, no CM. Her three requirements make sense. LOL. Autumn Rain says food for thought actually. Yeah, you have to think about those things. You can't just get up and willy-nilly make a decision to just do something and then you're uncomfortable. Remember, when you decide to buy a house, that will be one of the biggest decisions you have ever made in your life or you will ever make in your life. So you have to make sure that you're making a decision that you can be comfortable with, right? So you have to think about all the factors of your life. If you have small children that, for example, need to go to a primary school, a prep school, a basic school, you can't move to an area that don't have that. So I want you guys, after this program has ended, or you can get a pencil and a paper now and start thinking about some things that you need to be in close proximity to before you purchase a house. Because I know that a lot of people just get up spur of the moment and make these decisions that will not benefit them in the long run because they were too sporadic for there to be any proper thought that went into it. Let me see what you guys are saying. CM says, yes, Autumn, but Portmore not have hospital and it have a booming house market. Yeah, some of them not thinking. Or maybe they plan to use the health centers and other private practices. CM says, Portmore, I mean, typing too fast. Yes, I figured. Autumn Rim says, but there is Spanish Town Hospital. That's not too far, I think. CM says, no hospital in Portmore. WN Max says, no hospital in Portmore. Autumn Rim says, so Portmore is a good balance. Okay, so Autumn Rain thinks that, Spanish Town Hospital is close enough. CM says Spanish Town Hospital far from Portmore. Autumn. Yes, it's far. Autumn. It is indeed far. Yes. So those were the food for thought. She said, "Oh, didn't realize." Yeah, man, it's far. Those were the food for thought as it relates to our new high-rise existence and the alternative to living in the concrete jungle. So let me know what you guys thought about the suggestions, and let me know also if you have any other suggestions as it relates to alternative home solution, because you can't just have your head in a box and you can't just make up your mind that this is where I'm living in the city, and if I don't get a house in the city, me just I go rent in my dead because I now left the city life. We have to think about things with a more open mind, and then we will see that there are greater solutions to some of the issues that we face. Additionally, I want you, my subscribers, to tell me what you want us to talk about on next week live stream. So go ahead and tell me in the comment section what you want to talk about on next week live stream. I'm going to pick the topic based on what one of you have said. So tell me all your suggestions for topics. If you don't get to comment it on the live, go ahead and leave it in the comment section under this video once the video goes up on the channel. Tell me what you want me to talk about in next week live. I want to take a topic from one of my subscribers. Additionally, I have seen in the comment section under some of the videos where you are telling me what you want to talk about on in the Friday videos. So I have noted all of those suggestions, and I'll be making good on my promise and bringing those videos to you. Okay, so fingers crossed, everything will work out and I will be able to deliver on those. But I still want you guys to tell me what you want to talk about in next week live stream. Let me see what you guys are saying in the comment section. WN Max says, please talk about a young family. Okay. CM says, all the suggestions been good, Kayla. In Portmore, some people live in their car and travel across the road. Huh? Oh, in the US. Sorry. CM says, all the suggestions been good, Kayla. In the US, some people live in their car and travel across the road. WN Max says, talk about a young family. WN Max says, I have a 2-year-old. I have a 2-year-old daughter. Okay, so that's one suggestion so far. So you guys can go ahead and tell me what you want to talk about on next week live, as well as you can go ahead and ask all your questions in the comment section now, so that I can provide you with a response to those questions. For those of you who have continued to watch my videos, continue to like, comment, subscribe. By the way, if you're here and you are not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button somewhere off here, the little red subscribe. Just hit it and hit the bell so that you don't miss notifications whenever I post. If you have not liked this video, and you do that by simply clicking the thumbs up icon, go ahead and like the video. And when the video ends, share it with a friend so that they too can enjoy the knowledge nuggets. Okay? So, while I wait on you to type your questions as well as your suggestion for my topic next week, I want to encourage you guys to continue on your journey of financial stability and continue to look for the property of your choice that fits into your budget, of course. Continue to do what you have to do to make it work and continue to stay strong in the pandemic. I know that some persons are taking the pandemic a little hard and it's kind of difficult for them. However, just be strong, and we are here together. We're in this together as a family. So big up all future millionaires. Thank you so much for joining this week's live. And until next week, when I upload a video or when I live stream, just continue to do what you're doing and be strong. WN Max says, Kayla, you can talk about a long distance relationship where money is concerned. Okay, those are some good suggestions. CM says, Kayla, you said you would email your VIP subscribers the link, and I don't think you have all your VIP subscribers' email. Yes, so if you are here on the channel and you're a VIP subscriber, meaning you're always watching the videos, you're always commenting, always interacting with me, send me an email at misske21@gmail.com so I can add you to the VIP subscriber list so that you can be a part of events that are held outside of YouTube. They're virtual events, of course. We're staying COVID free, but I don't want any of you to get left out. I'll link the email address under the video, and the email address is under most of my videos. So you guys can just check the email address, send me an email so that you can be a part of the first meet and greet. If you don't do that, you're going to have an issue because you might have to join the second batch for the meet and greet. CM says, repeat your email. My email is misske21@gmail.com. Let me see if I missed any comments. Okay, so I think that's it for tonight, guys. Thank you all so much for watching my future millionaire family. I appreciate you so much. For those of you who are here for the first time, remember to subscribe, and I upload a video on Fridays at 3 p.m. and on Sundays at 6 p.m. I go live. So continue to join my live stream and look out for my upload. If you haven't clicked the bell, go ahead and click the bell. Lucas AJA says midnight. Oh, you're in England, Lucas AJA? CM is laughing at him and says, oh, he says, CM, I just reached. LOL, LOL. Thank you for coming. It doesn't matter if you're late, you're still here. Thank you guys for joining this week. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe. Lucas JA says, no, I'm in Jamaica. Kayla. Natisha says, thanks, Kayla. Have a great night, everyone. Good night. Lucas Zaid, you was eating dinner? Question, CM. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Until next week, like, comment, subscribe, and remain financially literate. Bye-bye.